Hi guys, it's Chris at Cork and Crown, back in my cider shed with some more cider to try. We've been trying a lot of French ciders lately, and we still have some more to try. But I thought I'd break things up a bit, mix things up a bit, and try something that I saw on a shelf in Tesco's. Yes, in Tesco's. And I think I've had something from these guys before, but not this particular one. And the brand is Pulpt. Pulpt. You might have seen these around. Quite new cider makers based in Somerset. Interestingly, I thought, I wonder where they are, and I looked up where they are. Turns out they're in a place called Hewish in Somerset, North Somerset, close to Western Supermare and Bristol. What's interesting about that is I also work in cheese, and I work with a company called Trethowan Brothers, Trethowan's Dairy, who are based in Somerset. And where in Somerset are they based? Hewish. So these guys are based in the same village as Pitchfork, Cheddar and Gorwith Caerphilly, the Trethowan Brothers. And I'm going to go there twice in September. So I might see if I can stop by and check this place out, because that might be interesting, mightn't it? Yes, Chris, it might. I'll do it then. How's that? Yes, please, Chris. All right. Don't badger me. So 4.9%, balanced and easy going. Apparently this features chisel Jersey heavily, is what it said on their website. So chisel Jersey, full bittersweet, produces quite a stringent juice. It's got one of these little, I quite like these. I've seen these, first time I saw these is used with cheese actually, people use the cheese, but it's like these little sort of web diagrams, tasting diagrams, and you have at the top, so you've got intensity, fruitiness, acidity, sweetness, florality, and tannin. So you can see from this little diagram on here, this has got quite a lot of sweetness, quite a lot of fruitiness, not a lot of tannin. So actually one of the more traditional ciders might suit me better. But it's strange they've got a lot of chisel Jersey in here, and it's not very tannic, because normally you'd assume it would be quite tannic. But there you go. Anything written on this bottle of any interest? Let's read what it says. The Flare description. It says here, a gentle sparkling blend of the finest bittersweet and bitter sharp cider apples from the southwest. A sweeter cider balanced with acidity and subtle tannins. I don't mind a little bit of sweetness. I assume they're back sweetening and pasteurising. Cider just got interesting. Just then. Pulpt is a more interesting craft cider for everyone. Crisp ciders with real depth and character. Only the finest southwest cider apples, 100% fresh pressed juice, no concentrates, nothing artificial. We like that. We combine science and art. The best cider making techniques, modern equipment, and a creative passion that showcases just how great cider can be. Join our community to find out more. Proudly Somerset, proud to be different. Jim and Al, independent cider makers, two guys who used to work in some sort of corporation together and decided they want to be cider makers instead. Not that uncommon for people to go, sod this for a lark with corporate stuff and start making food, then realise actually it's bloody hard work making food. It's not as romantic as we thought it was. It's fucking hard work. What goes into this juice? I'll tell you. Cider apple juice, water, sugar, malic acid, sulfites. I mean, so the back sweetener with sugar, they're probably, 4.9, so they're going to be watering it back a bit to get the alcohol down, one assumes. Malic acid, so they're adding malic acid to produce this acidity they've got here. Because if they're using mainly bittersweets and stuff, then they're relatively low in acid. That's why they're bittersweets, as opposed to sharps or bitter sharps. Blah, blah, blah. Why don't you just try it, for Christ's sake, Chris? All right, I'll try it. Let's open this mother. See what we got. Can't see anything through the brown bottle, so I have no idea what to expect. One hopes it's got a bit of colour, because it's made from tannic apples, cider apples. So there we go. Quite light in colour, actually. Quite light. It's got some colour to it, but they have, they've watered it down a bit to get it down to 4.9 one assumes. If they're not having colourings, then that is going to make it lighter in colour. Normally you'd expect them to ferment out to about 6.5ish, something like that. So they've got about 4.9. They've dropped the alcohol by about 1.6% probably. That's a relatively large proportion of water you've got to add to do that, assuming that's what they've done, but I'm going to assume that. Looks filtered. Don't know what the yeast is. Doesn't say whether it's wild yeast or not. I mean, I'd hope they'll be using wild yeast if they really want to get good expression. Me thinks they're probably going to use a cultured yeast. Because it's easier, it's safer, it's more predictable, but it will give you more apple forward characteristics or fruit characteristics. because that's what they're used in wine for, to bring the expression of fruit to the fore. Anyway, there you go. Looks fine. Doesn't look exciting, but it looks fine. Let's see how their forced carbonation is. That's always a good test. Turners, Phil and May at Turners are still the benchmark for me in terms of carbonation, because they do a brilliant job. Brilliant job. Let's smell it first, shall we? Very subtle nose. Very subtle nose. I've done this back to back with a French cider actually, so this is going to seem much. So maybe it's a little unfair on this, but I think this is sweeter than the cider that I did. So the first cider I did. So I want to do sweet after. You want to do sweet after dry, not the other way around. I mean, there's very, very, very subtle hints of maybe toffee apple, I want to say, which isn't a bad smell, but it's very mild. Yeah, something like that. Let's say toffee apple. Maybe the merest hint of smokiness as well, possibly. This wouldn't have seen any wood at all. It'd be all in steel, one assumes. And they're saying modern techniques, that usually means steel. Yeah, I'm going to stick with that. Let's try it. Okay, so there is solid astringency in this. There really is. So there are some tannins in this, absolutely. Soft tannins more than maybe the merest hint of hard tannin on the back. The merest hint of leatheriness. It's just peeking its head over the parapet and then just going away again. It's just there. But the soft astringency on the front is pretty obvious actually, which I respect, which I like. It does have some sugar in it. Hang on. Yeah, it's got sugar in it. Not too bad. Not too bad, actually. It's not sickly sweet by any stretch of the imagination. I think they're suggesting on the label that it's quite sweet as well. So obviously they don't have a sweet tooth, which is a good thing, in my opinion. Yeah, not bad. It's got the character feels quite. What did it say for acidity? Didn't say it was that acid. It's got reasonable acidity, but it's not super acid either. It's pretty crisp. It's got some acidity, which feels kind of malic / citric with malic. So a green malic thing going on, I want to suggest. But it's delicate. It's not super strong at all. It's not super acid. But there is some acidity. Also bordering on lime, I want to say. But right at the back, it's very delicate. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not blowing me away. It's not super characterful. But by goodness, I'd rather have this than, you know, the westerns that I've been trying. The vintage stuff, which is cloyingly sweet and not very pleasant at all. This is clean. It's refreshing. Like I said at the beginning, I think I'd probably prefer to try one of the more traditional tannic varietals, because that's more to my palate than this. But if you like something which is quaffable but has a bit more character than most things you would get in yourself, something which is more typical of what people expect when they buy ciders, people who've been brought up on, you know, more East Coast industrial style ciders, which use dessert apples and cooking apples, then this will bring some of that to the party, but also a bit of tannin, some other characteristics as well, which you probably wouldn't find in more sort of mass-produced ciders. So, you know, they're saying that this is kind of quaffable session cider, 4.9%. We go, okay, yeah. But what I'd like to try off the back of this is a more tannic, traditional West Country ciders, if you like, to see how they compare. Okay, guys, so there you go. You're probably going to be able to get this. One thing I'm not sure about, if they're using whole juice and so forth, how will they get this into Tesco's? I mean, they're not making from concentrate, so they're basically they'll be making one batch a year. You know, one batch a year, one assumes, unless they're storing the apples in sort of like some sort of like environment where they don't ripen, which is possible. I think, is it nitrogen? I can't remember what they saturate the environment with, and it just preserves the apples. They're doing something like that so they can keep pressing throughout the year, so they've got enough to supply Tesco's all year round. Because if they're supplying, the Tesco's network is pretty big, and it's not the only ones who got it. So they're supplying Tesco's. Plus, on their website, it's got lots of small independent producers that they supply. Doesn't mention Tesco's at all. So they're supplying all those small businesses, also Tesco's. Then, you know, I don't know how they're doing that. If it's 100% juice, and they're relatively small, but you know, I believe what they're saying. Yeah, I think I already read the ingredients, didn't I? Anyway, there you go, guys. Flare from Pulpt. I'm going to try and get something else of theirs, which I think will suit my palate more. We'll give them a better crack of the whip, I think. All right. Thank you for joining me in my shed. We'll be back next time with some more French cider. But until then, cheers.